From Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Saamiyah Syed. Our top story tonight: a federal grand jury has indicted former President Donald Trump in the investigation led by special counsel Jack Smith. The indictment relates to Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election and his role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Trump, who is now the leading Republican candidate for the 2024 presidential nomination, faces 4 charges. They include conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. The indictment accuses Trump of knowingly spreading lies about the widespread election fraud and refusing to accept his election results. Special counsel Jack Smith says the indictment reaffirms a commitment to ensuring accountability for those responsible for the Capitol attack. Smith is calling for a speedy trial to present the evidence in court and have it judged by a jury of citizens. He says the investigation of other individuals involved in the events also continues. 9 Oklahoma residents have joined a non-governmental organization in filing a lawsuit to prevent the state from funding St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School. The school is said to be the first religious charter school in the United States. The Oklahoma statewide Virtual Charter School Board approved the online facility by a 3-2 vote. The school is a joint project of the Archdiocese of Oklahoma City and the Diocese of Tulsa. It will provide a Catholic education to children beginning in 2024-25 school year. The plaintiffs argue that state support and funding for a religious charter school violates the principle of separation of church and state. They claim forcing taxpayers to support religious teachings is not consistent with religious freedom. Promoting a religion, they say, violates the Oklahoma Constitution and the Oklahoma Charter Schools Act. St. Isidore Catholic Virtual School is expected to cost taxpayers more than $26 million in its first 5 years of operation. Massachusetts will now offer free meals in schools. The state legislature has approved a $171.3 million budget proposal to fund the school lunch program. This would make Massachusetts the 8th U.S. state to make free school meals permanent. The program was originally implemented during the pandemic, but federal funding expired last year. Free school meals have been linked to a number of positive outcomes, including a decrease in child hunger and better academic performance. The program would benefit students from kindergarten through 12th grade. It is supported by several organizations, including Project Bread and the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents. Investigators in California have discovered an illegal medical laboratory containing nearly 1,000 bioengineered mice and infectious agents. The infectious agents include microbes linked to diseases such as HIV, hepatitis, E. coli, malaria, herpes, and coronavirus. The lab was in a warehouse in Reedley, California, and operated by Prestige Biotech, a Las Vegas-based company. Authorities believe the lab was used to manufacture COVID-19 and pregnancy tests. The mice were bioengineered to capture and carry the coronavirus, and they were used to test the effectiveness of the drugs. The lab also contained other biohazardous materials, including blood, tissue, and other body fluids. Authorities also found thousands of containers of unlabeled fluids and suspected biological materials. All biohazardous materials in the lab were destroyed. Wang Zhaolin, a Prestige spokesman, told investigators that drugs against COVID-19 had been tested at the facility. The United Nations has called for an immediate end to the expulsion of migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers from Tunisia. Last month, Tunisian security forces pushed hundreds of people from sub-Saharan African countries to the coastal city of Sfax. It has left people stranded in a desolate desert area without food, water, or shelter. The UN deputy spokesperson says several refugees have died at the border with Libya. The UN reports that among them are many pregnant women and children who remain stranded in extremely dire conditions. Despite a ceasefire, violent clashes erupted again on Tuesday in the Palestinian refugee camp of Ain al-Halwa in southern Lebanon. Ain al-Halwa camp is the largest of 12 Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon. Clashes between Islamist groups and Palestinian security forces affiliated with the Fatah movement erupted Saturday. So far, 11 people have died and 40 have been injured in the clashes. On Monday night, both groups agreed to a ceasefire after talks between Lebanese and Palestinian officials. But clashes erupted once again on Tuesday. There are an estimated 200,000 Palestinian refugees in Lebanon distributed among 12 camps. The camps are under the control of one or another Palestinian factions. Türkiye's former deputy prime minister has expressed concern over Greece's closure of Turkish minority schools in the western Thrace region. He is describing the closures as a violation of historic agreements between Greece and Türkiye that guarantee minorities the right to education in their language. In 1926, there were over 300 elementary schools for minorities in the region. Now, there are only 90. Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, chairman of the Parliamentary Human Rights Commission, said the closure of minority schools could lead to more intolerance and discrimination. Turkish minority schools play a crucial role in preserving the cultural heritage, language, and traditions of the Muslim Turkish community in the Western Thrace. Çavuşoğlu stressed improving Turkish-Greek relations is closely linked to minority rights. An Uyghur woman has been detained by Chinese security forces for complaining about her son's long prison sentence. Rahil Jalaluddin was taken into custody in Urumqi, the capital of China's far northwest region it calls Xinjiang. Her son, Zolyar Yasin, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for traveling to Türkiye in 2013. Chinese authorities claim he did not have permission to travel to Türkiye. Jalaluddin was angered by the sentence and repeatedly complained to authorities. According to Norway-based Uyghur Yar Foundation, she was arrested July 22nd and is still in custody. More details on the communal clashes in India that have claimed the lives of 6 people comes after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Indian capital, New Delhi, has been placed on high alert following communal clashes. 6 deaths have been confirmed in Nur district in Haryana state, which borders New Delhi. Police said they have detained over 100 people in connection with the riots. A mob attacked a mosque in the satellite town of Gurugram. During the attack, 19-year-old Deputy Imam Hafiz Saad was killed and 1 person was injured. Most multinational companies with offices in Gurugram have asked employees not to go outside and to work from home. Clashes erupted during a Hindu religious procession passing the Muslim-majority region. Right-wing Hindu groups had earlier campaigned against Friday prayers in Gurugram, causing tensions. Several cars were set on fire and stones were thrown at the police. The state government has requested additional forces to bring the situation under control. Authorities suspended internet services in the area and banned major gatherings. However, Hindu extremists backed by the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party gathered in large numbers and blocked roads leading to New Delhi. In an unprecedented move, the Indian government has revoked the passports of several Kashmiris, including journalists and academics. Over the past 10 days, numerous Kashmiris living in India-controlled Kashmir and abroad have reported receiving emails from the Indian government. The emails inform them of the suspension of their passports. The Srinagar Regional Passport Office invoked provisions of the 1967 Passport Act, claiming these individuals posed a threat to Indian security. However, the individuals concerned claimed there were no charges against them. According to media reports, about 70 to 90 more people could lose their passports. Many recipients of the emails were reluctant to speak out publicly, fearing further reprisals from the state. Srinagar passport officer Devinder Singh confirmed receiving instructions to block the passports of numerous individuals. Several media outlets are reporting growing hostility towards the West in Niger since a military coup in the landlocked West African nation. Ousted President Mohamed Bazoum was a strong ally of the West. On July 26, Niger's Presidential Guard arrested Bazoum. The commander of the Presidential Guard, General Abdur Ahmed Chiani, declared himself the leader of a new military junta. Niger hosts a French military base and is a major uranium producer, a quarter of which is shipped to Europe, particularly France. After Bazoum's ouster, Russian colors appeared on the streets. Reports of protests against the West, especially France, are widespread. Local media reports pro-Russian sentiment was fueled by complaints against France. The main accusation is that France is exploiting Niger's resources and leaving many people living in extreme poverty. Anti-French protests were banned under President Bazoum's government. A Turkish employee was seriously wounded in an armed attack at Sweden's honorary consulate in the western province of Izmir. The local governor's office says the attack was carried out by a mentally disabled person on Tuesday. The wounded woman, a secretary at the diplomatic mission, was in critical condition. Turkish broadcaster Haberturk reports the incident is believed to be linked to a dispute about the visa application process. There was no immediate indication of any political motive behind the attack. Turkish authorities have detained the assailant with the gun and launched an investigation. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.